Go ahead and take him first. Pat him down. And then, Vito, can you sit with us? There you go.
A murder suspect is arrested in broad daylight, accused in the connection to the death of a 13-year-old boy.
Open!
But police say he's not the one accused of pulling the trigger.
Here's the car. Here's my car. Here's the stop sign, the red light. I stop barely. He jumps out as I'm stopping to turn or whatever, and he starts shooting.
We're breaking down the details as police suggest the murder was random. Plus, we have this shocking update of the accused killer. Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime.
The man who'd spent his career dismantling New Mexico's most violent gangs never imagined the next shocking headline about his own family wouldn't be about a criminal he'd helped put away. It would be about his own son. This is the story of how a random burst of gunfire on a warm August night in Albuquerque ended the life of a 13-year-old boy, and how the trail investigators followed led them somewhere almost nobody expected, straight to the doorstep of a decorated FBI agent's own household. On that August night, a car full of teenagers was just trying to get home when gunfire tore through the darkness, and by the time it stopped, 13-year-old Michael Tubb was dead, killed in what police would initially describe as a random, motiveless attack. Michael was only 3 weeks into a new school year. He was riding as a passenger, driven by a 17-year-old girl, when another car pulled up beside them and someone inside opened fire, spraying bullets into their vehicle. The girl was hit in the leg and survived. Michael didn't. He died right there in the passenger seat on a street in the city he called home, killed by a stranger for reasons no one could explain, at least not yet. In the days that followed, his school brought in trauma counselors to help his classmates process the loss, and his family was left with nothing but questions, planning a funeral for a child who should have had decades left ahead of him, because right now, all anyone actually knew was that a child had been murdered for what looked like no reason at all. Detectives had almost nothing to go on, no known enemies, no clear motive, just a boy who happened to be in the wrong car at the wrong moment. Investigators worked the case for weeks without a single solid lead, chasing down dead end after dead end, refusing to let it go cold, and eventually they went back to the only real evidence they had.
Time to give you some background on how this early morning arrest came to be. In August of 2024, 13-year-old Michael Tubb was riding as a passenger in a car driven by a 17-year-old girl. Then all of a sudden, bullets were flying into their car. Both the teen driver and 13-year-old Michael were shot. The girl was rushed to the hospital, but Michael didn't survive the shooting, and he died at the scene. Who would target two young teenagers in what appeared to be like a random attack or a drive-by? The detectives had to work backwards, first by identifying the car where the bullets came from. That car was specific, too. It was a specific...
Grainy surveillance footage of the shooter's car, a distinctive Lexus sedan. Investigators spent weeks combing through camera after camera across downtown, piecing together where that car had come from and where it had gone, essentially chasing a ghost through the city one frame at a time. Nobody working the case that fall had any idea it would eventually turn into one of the most talked about homicide investigations in the state, or that it would end up drawing national attention for reasons that had absolutely nothing to do with a typical drive-by shooting. For a while, that Lexus stayed exactly that, a ghost, until a month later it resurfaced in the last place anyone expected, a Facebook marketplace listing. Someone was trying to sell it. That someone was 21-year-old Michael Flores
and the FBI.
You're under arrest and not free to leave. Exit the front door with your hands up and empty and follow the commands given to you by the officers you come into contact with. If you comply, we can guarantee your safety.
Residents in a seemingly quiet neighborhood in Albuquerque were probably in for a shock when tactical officers showed up to their neighborhood at 9:30 in the morning.
Attention, Michael Flores. Side of 303 Pearl Drive Northeast. This is the Albuquerque Police Department.
Man, it's the Albuquerque Police Department. Keep your hands up and walk towards me.
Here's a good time to give you some background on how
In October of 2024, investigators tracked him down and placed him under arrest. At first, Flores was only charged with tampering with evidence, but prosecutors said his phone had been in the exact area where Michael Tubb was killed, on the same route the Lexus had taken that night, caught on camera after camera. He wasn't just connected to the car, he'd been inside it. Flores would eventually tell detectives an entirely different story than anyone expected, one that didn't start with any plan to kill a child at all. He said he knew the real shooter only as a customer.
Thomas Acey, the son of an FBI agent, Brian Acey. How did Michael Flores and Thomas Acey meet? Well, Michael told detectives they met while he was selling him drugs.
I sold cocaine to him and a lot of my friends and friends of their friends. And so he was a friend of a friend who I just happened to be with downtown.
Okay. And if you
Okay.
This conversation, that's fine.
Okay. So he runs into somebody when we're down there, like when we're walking back to the car to leave or whatever. This person, he told me about this person before, but I didn't know it was that person at the time or whatever. He tells me this person shot up his car and robbed him at a party earlier on that year.
Someone he sold cocaine to downtown, a friend of a friend he barely knew outside of that. That night, Flores claims the two of them ran into someone the shooter recognized on the street, a man he said had robbed him and shot up his car months earlier at a party. Flores said he didn't want any part of what came next. He said he tried to head home too, maybe 3 times that night, but the other man wouldn't let him, at one point allegedly pointing a gun at him. And
so he tells me that or whatever, and I tell him I don't want nothing a part of none of that. We're going home, you know, whatever. And, he tells me just loop around. I want to see what car he gets in, or whatever. I loop around. He says he got in this car. He said loop around again and follow that car. And what's it called? I did. I followed it maybe 5 or 10 minutes up the road, like towards UNM. And then, because he wanted me to, to just know where he lived. Because he promised me, he told me, I'm not going to do nothing. I know that, like, I don't want to put you in any situation or anything. I just want to know where this guy lives or whatever. And so I follow that car. And then when he finds out that it's not the guy or whatever, for whatever reason, he's like, that isn't the car. I don't think that's the car or whatever. And I tell him, all right, let's go home. And he gets mad at me at this point, and he points the gun at me at this point, and he tells me, go back downtown. Like, stop being a or whatever. Because, like, I already wanted to go home like 2 or 3 times at this point. I didn't want any part of this or whatever.
ordering him to keep circling downtown until they found the car the stranger was supposedly riding in. When they finally spotted a matching vehicle stopped nearby, Flores says he slowed for a stop sign, and that's when the passenger threw open his door mid-roll. And
that's when I got mad back, and I'm like, we're done with this. Like, we're going home. And then and I get in the turning lane, I'm about to turn, and he gets out as I'm like about to turn.
So which side of the car was the other car compared to yours?
Here's the car, here's my car. Here's the stop sign, the red light. I stop barely, he jumps out as I'm stopping to turn or whatever, and he just starts shooting.
So you're going to turn right?
Yeah, I'm going to turn right, and they're like in the straight lane or left lane or something.
Okay, and so that means that the passenger side window of the other car is right next to your driver's side window, right?
Say that again.
So if we have two cars, so if this one's your car and this one's the other car, the passenger side window, and this is your driver's side window.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you're saying that when you passed by the car because of the tint, you couldn't see anything inside?
Yeah. So I didn't see anybody. I didn't see a gun pulled. None of that. I just seen a tinted car
opened fire, unloading round after round into a car that had absolutely nothing to do with any earlier dispute. Inside that car wasn't the man from the party at all. It was two teenagers who'd never met either of them in their lives. And one of them was Michael Tubb. The name investigators eventually connected to that gun is what made this case explode into national headlines.
Detectives show Michael a photo, seemingly of Thomas, posed up with the same weapon allegedly used to kill 13-year-old Michael Tubb.
Who you know this person as?
That's him.
Okay. The firearm that he's holding in that picture, is that the same firearm, or does it look like the same firearm?
It looks like it, yeah. It does.
Okay. And you're more than welcome to keep looking at it if you want to, but I just want to ask you kind of a little bit about him and that firearm. When you guys left that evening, how did he get to? You said you guys met up at the Shoshone address.
Yeah.
How did he get there?
He drove that car that had a bunch of bullet holes in it from whenever he got robbed and had his car shot up at that party. I convinced everybody in my life that I was innocent, that I wasn't there, and this is just a coincidence.
So when you say this too, for why you removed that, what do you mean?
I mean, like, that night because he told me the only way they could tie us to this whole thing or whatever is because the car. So it was his idea to modify it.
Okay.
And you mean?
Yeah.
Patching a bullet hole punched clean through the Lexus, driving it all the way to Colorado, hoping to quietly sell it for cash. And when that deal fell through,
Yeah, I wanted to keep that car, yeah.
Yeah. In all those searches, you searched for a 2015 Lexus. When you listed it on Facebook, you listed it as a 2014. Was there a reason behind that?
A reason behind 14. Yeah, it would be to that night.
Okay. Just as
I didn't understand it.
No, I'm sorry. So like you I guess what I'm asking is you knew that the car was a 2015. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And did you intentionally post it on Facebook Marketplace as a 2014?
Yeah.
Okay. And was that to try to avoid, I guess, me or us finding you in the car?
Yeah. I didn't do it before, and I'll get into that. I didn't do this. I wanted to testify, but I couldn't because he showed up to my house whenever I was in jail. He never knew where I lived. I don't know how he found where I lived, but he showed up to my house when I was in jail. When I was in jail the first time or whatever. He showed up to my house when I was in jail the first time, and he talked to Sasha and her mom or whatever. And so, being in jail, I was like, how the does he know where I live? Like, and he was like, I guess when he talked to them, he told them that like he was gonna put money on my books, he was gonna pay for my lawyer, he was gonna do this, he was gonna do that, all this stuff. I knew that was his way of like don't tell on me, I know where you live, like type of thing. So I didn't, and I wanted to, because it was very tempting, but I didn't want my family to get hurt and my girlfriend.